Hi guys, I will talk about the other Cluckies. Theories. I was thinking about lore, but some people beat me to it, such as Gadublu. Like his videos and subscribe to his channel. I was going to give some theories, but like I said, some people beat me to it and I was collecting information in the game and videos. I want to understand more, so I am waiting for a few other points of view and ideas. Plus, I didn't have time to make the video. So let's start with this. Before, I didn't know their names and I couldn't read the newspaper well because it wasn't clear. But thanks to some people they were able to read it and know their names. Restaurant manager Charles and his wife Betsy with Rodney the head chef. Like everyone else, I thought Charles turned into Punny Bunny and Betsy turned into Demonica and Rodney turned into Geezy. The reason we believe this is Charles wears the same glasses kind of like the mascot's rabbit. And if Betsy is the mother, it makes sense for her to be Mama Demonica, but I think it's just Rodney turned into Geezy is correct because we are talking about game-tuned here. For example, Kissy Missy and Lovey Dovey look alike not because they are twins, but because they are from the same family. What I mean in all Gamatoon series, all parents when they turn into monsters become like their children. So it would make sense if his parents turn into the Mascot Chickens. So if you are from the same family, you will transform into the same creature as your whole family. But there are 3 exceptions. Like this couple from Roblox Doors. Isaac turns into Seek while Irene turns into Eyes. Benny turns blue and his twin sister turns pink while Luke turns orange and his younger brother turns yellow. What bothers me is the video cover when they introduce Blue's sister. The cover is pink. She looks like Blue, but in the video she's different. I loved what they did in the dark origin of Clucky. I was right about parents being like their children. As you can see, Clucky's dad is like his son while Jack is Jackal because Richard and Jack are from different mothers. You can imagine Betsy as a jackal. Let's leave this aside, I want to talk about this episodes. In the episode, Clucky is not a monster. Clucky faked the episode so he could look like the hero.
You want it so much? Fine. Go and get it. So, what do you think? Still working out the ending celebration. I'm thinking of titling this one, Clucky is not a monster.
I don't understand. Did all that really happen?
Not exactly. I might have embellished a few details here and there.
In the beginning, I don't think much about the episode because it's just Clucky doing something evil like all evil characters. But after watching the dark origin of Clucky, everything makes sense now. Richard is a twisted person. He thinks he is the victim, but the truth is the opposite. In this episode, we see his memories between reality and fantasy. But there is one thing in common in all his memories, that he sees Jack as a bad person and sees him as the cause of his problems. Even though Jack did nothing wrong to him, he only tried to help him, and Jack cares about his big brother. I think Richard is so attached to the suit that to the point he believes that he is Clucky. He started to see his father as a rooster while he saw his younger brother as a jackal. Like in the first scene, Clucky thought Jackson pushed him, but I think Jack pushed him by mistake or Richard slipped on the puddle or mud. Then the scene shifts to the restaurant opening. Richard sees Jack as Jackson. Richard blames him for making him late. Although I think Jack tried to tell him that he was trying to convince their father to wait for him. But Richard sees it differently. He just sees Jackson and tell him about the wrong timing. Jack tries to tell him that he turned up the heat too high, but Richard tells him to leave him alone, he knows what to do. But in Richard's memories, Jack was the one who raised the temperature intentionally and not his idea. When Jack gave his speech, he mentioned, I really couldn't have done it without the help of my older brother Richard. He works just as hard as me. Jack tried to support his older brother, but in Richard's eyes, he sees him as making fun of him and how he is better than him. When Richard put on the costume and stood on stage, he felt like he had found something he was good at and how he made his father happy with it. But when their father told Jack to put on a costume too, Richard felt that what he was good at had been stolen. He was really angry. In the hospital, when their father was taking his last breaths, he gave them his will. Richard felt betrayed because all of his father's property was in Jack's name and his father only left him the family farm. As you can see, Jack was also not happy about the will because he knew how his older brother would react. But again, Richard sees Jack as a bad person and makes fun of him at his worst times. This was the last straw. In the episode, We see Mama Demonica tell him to get rid of his little brother, but he will continue to refuse. I think Demonica is a figment of his imagination from the dark side of his mind, but there is something strange about her. But let us continue the events. Richard put on his Clucky costume and started chasing Jack to the edge of the castle, causing him to fall. But there is something important that caught my attention, and that is this scene.
Help me! Richard, please! Wait a sec. You're not—
I think what Jack was trying to say is you're not Richard. If this wasn't Richard, then who is this person in the costume? I was wondering if there was someone else in the story, and I were right about that. Thanks to the new update in the game, we got some clues. But I will borrow a video from W. Again, I say like his videos and subscribe to his channel. Now we will listen to the cassette tape.
The date of this log is January 12th, 1985. I will now be commencing experiment 343 of sugar bomb candy trials. Device is active. Yes, good boy. In this next phase, I will attempt isolating the synthetic bubblegum and berry flavors. Activating centrifuge. I have placed the samples into the device.
Jolly, wait! Wait! Jolly!
Dr. Julian was experimenting and he had his dog Jolly with him. When he started his second experiment, I think his dog was messing with something. So we heard him calling his dog Jolly. And this gave me a good theory. What if Dr. Julian tried to save his dog Jolly and in the process turned his dog into Ball Pit Monster? Wait a minute. Didn't he say anything about experiments on bubble gum? I think the experience turned Jolly into a bubble gum block. If we look at Pit Monster's picture, he looks like a bunch of gumballs. Tell me what you think in the comments about my theory. And now the second part of the tape.
Today's date is June 5th, 1986. Commencing research experiment 182 on Jolly's ectoplasm.
Hey, quick! Help us!
What is it? What's happened?
It's Jack. He...
He fell.
Please, you have to help him!
No, I'll call an ambulance.
No! We can't.
Dr. Kane, we can use the ectoplasm.
Absolutely not. I told you, the formula requires more research. We don't even know what could...
It's not your decision to make. The formula belongs to me. So give it to him. Now!
Yes, Richard. Mr. Beekman. Strap him down there. Hide the heat,
Hello,
please.
everybody, and collect the missing parts for the slushing machine. Wait, are any of you even still alive out
Take
there?
this. Hurry now, and careful. This is the last of it. There will be more.
Ready, Doctor?
As ready as I'll ever be.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Jack, what happened?
I can't believe it. His vitals are stable.
Well, that solves the mystery, folks. In the last video entitled The Dark Origin of Clucky, we saw Richard, aka Clucky, throw Jack Jackson off of the Polar Castle. I believe that this tape picks up right after that because we have Richard telling Dr. Kane that Jack fell. My question is, who is the lady's voice? Is that of the Pink Devil? I'd like to find out some more.
In the second tape, Richard tried to save his brother Jack with the help of the experiment. On the tape we hear her voice, but that's impossible. She's just a voice in Richard's head, so how can we hear her on the tape unless she's a real person? It might be her, the same person who was in the costume chasing Jack. Is it possible that she is the one pulling the thread here in the story? Only time will tell. Let's talk about Jack. In the episode, Jackson Jackal is not a monster. In Jack's memories, we can see him locked up. I think this happened before he fell, because the prison room is under the castle. So I guess Jack managed to escape and continue climbing the castle. True. Thanks to ectoplasm, he was able to save Jack, but I think there are side effects. I think it affected Jack's mind until he believed that he was Jackson. So that's why he was wearing the costume. He's always hungry, and if his hunger is not satisfied, he will become like a wild animal and will attack anyone until his hunger is satisfied. But apparently he had little self-control when he was working with Player. I feel bad for Jack, especially if you see episode Clucky buys his first house.
You've always done that to me, Jack. I only ever took what was mine. Wait, you can't do this to me. This won't hold me back for long. No, don't leave me here. No!
Can you believe what Clucky did to Jack? He lives happily with his family and loyal friends, while Jack is trapped in the prison, suffering from hunger. It's not Jack's fault he's like this, but Richard is the one who made Jack like this. The reason Jack acts like a villain is because his brother treated him like one. So Jack decided to give him what he wanted, a villain. It wasn't Jack's fault that their father chose him. There are two choices. Option A, Charles was not a good father. Option B, Charles was a strict father with Richard, but he loved his son, but because he was also the eldest son, he was also going to inherit the restaurant, so Charles was a little strict with his eldest son so he would be better at running the restaurant after him. This puts pressure on Richard, so he tries his best. Charles saw his eldest son as not responsible enough for the position of restaurant manager. So he gave the restaurant ownership to Jack because he proved he was responsible enough for the position, without explaining in his will the reasons for his decision. Jack knew how his father treated his big brother. Jack was always supportive of his big brother, but Richard was blinded by anger, hatred, and jealousy. Richard always felt like he was outcast, like he wasn't part of the family. Every time Richard does something wrong, his father advises him to be like Jack, and Richard blames his little brother for all his misfortunes. That's what made me feel so sorry for Jack. Our only question is, who was Demonica and why did she do all this? Maybe in the future we may get answers.
Wait a minute. Did you forget to comment on this comment? From Captain Artastic.
Thanks for the reminder.
You are welcome.
Captain Artastic commented,
Clucky's mom kinda looks like Player. Maybe Clucky is his dad or uncle. Maybe that's why Clucky kept him alive.
It is correct that Betsy and Player have the same hair color and style, but the family name is different. Betsy family is Bauer while the last name of Player is Schmidt. However, Player kind of looks like Jack. If I didn't know about them, I would say Player is Jack's son. But this is just a theory. But there is a possibility that Player might be one of their relatives, and Clucky knows that. I forgot about the third recorder that proves my dog theory. Let's listen to the tape.
Johnny. No. Johnny. What is this? It appears to be some sort of vibrant, viscous substance, but it's floating and changing shape. How is this possible? Johnny? Wait, something's happening. My God, it's binding to the candies.
Dr. King, what's happened?
A miracle, Monica. A miracle.
This proves my theory that Jolly the dog is the ball pit monster. In the third tape, we hear Dr. Julian grieving over his dog after the experiment. He saw his dog turn into something else. That's why he said this is a miracle. Comment in the video if you also think Jolly is the ball pit monster. See you guys in the next video and bye.